What's going on, guys? Back at it again. Welcome back. My name is Casey Lawless with the Lawless Sports Podcast, and today we're going to have a different type of upload, not a podcast episode, more of like a general question that I think that needs to be answered. How important is an elite receiver to an NFL team? Let's talk about that. So let's get right into it. Messy hair. I know, whatever. So having a deep threat on the outside in the NFL is a super important position. It definitely determines, in my opinion, how well your regular season's going to go, but that all depends on the quarterback play, how well the offensive line can protect for the quarterback, things like that. But in my opinion, I do not think investing in a wide receiver of that top, upper echelon, elite, top 10 ranking is important to a Super Bowl contender. And we can even see that in the last 10 years. So this is going to be part 1 of this episode. If you guys want to see part 2, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. So we're going to talk about these teams from 2010 to 2015 that won the Super Bowl and see how important their number 1 wide receiver was to them winning the Super Bowl. So let's get just straight into it. Flashback 10 years ago, we're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl in that 2010 season. Took place in 2011. So you had guys like Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, even Donald Driver. You could all say that these were elite wide receivers, but we all know why they won. It was A-Rod all the way. Their defense played dominant, lights out. They stopped Big Ben. Pretty high-scoring affair, but I definitely think that Green Bay definitely won because they just had the better quarterback at that time. And I think that Big Ben is definitely underrated in his career. He's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Never an MVP, but definitely kind of always in that top 8-ish, top 7 quarterback. There was a time when he was a top 5 quarterback for sure, though. But with Aaron Rodgers, he was definitely the guy. And that's the only reason why they won the Super Bowl, in my opinion, other than their incredible defense. But then you talk about the next season. Eli Manning, Tom Brady trying to get his revenge on the Giants for eliminating their perfect season from the record books back in 2007. But again, it was not the elite wide receiver play. I mean, I know you had guys like Mario Manningham, Hakeem Nicks. Was that Plaxico Burress in that Super Bowl? No, I believe Victor Cruz was in that Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. And again, these guys were all top 30-ish, top 30 to top 20 receivers at that time. Victor Cruz was kind of coming into his own for sure in the league, but I definitely think that just like what won them the Super Bowl back in 2007 was that dominant defensive line play from guys like Osi Umenyiora, Jason Pierre-Paul. How could you forget about Justin Tuck? You know what I mean? Fun fact, met him at a playground. But anyway, so that's definitely the reason why they won that Super Bowl, in my opinion. And I don't think you could really chalk it up to the wide receiver play, in my opinion. So again, using that money on the defensive line and just defense, the old saying is offense wins games, defense wins championships. And I think that that's going to prove true as we keep going on throughout the years. And I'll show you why. There's literally only one team that I can think of in my mind right now, and it might be recency bias, but that offense won them that Super Bowl. But then again, you have to go to the next Super Bowl, the crazy lights out at halftime fiasco in New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, right? Yeah, for sure. And you had guys, that was the end of an era in Baltimore. You had Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, T. Sizzle was coming on the end of his career. I mean, these are truly transformative NFL players. Hall of Fame, first ballot worthy. Ed Reed, you can argue, is the greatest safety of all time. You can literally make an argument that Ray Lewis is the greatest linebacker to have ever played in football. So many different things. You have Joe Flacco on his rookie contract still. A lot of people forget that. You know what I mean? This was the last year of his rookie deal. I believe this is the year that got him paid. And this is because he was drafted in 2008. And it just allowed Baltimore to truly build a team around him. Because they were paying their quarterback Jack, and someone who I listen to a lot, Colin Cowherd, a lot of people give him hate and stuff, but he talks about if you have a successful quarterback on their rookie year, on their rookie deal rather, surround them with talent, get them to the Super Bowl, and that's what Seattle did, and we're just about to get there right now. So in my opinion, on the Ravens, you had Anquan Boldin, but nearing the end of his prime. You had guys like Torrey Smith kind of coming onto their own, Jacoby Jones, more of a special team specialist kind of guy. Their run game was pretty solid. They definitely beat up on their opponents, if you know what I mean. And but we're gonna get right into it on the next Super Bowl, and that was 2013 when Seattle mollywopped the Denver Broncos. And that was all thanks to the Legion of Boom. You had guys like Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, Cam Chancellor, Michael Bennett. I mean, the list goes on. They were elite at this time, and they were all playing in their primes. And Richard Sherman was a shutdown corner. It didn't matter if you tried to throw it over the top because you had Earl Thomas playing center field, and you had Cam Chancellor who was literally going to knock your head off. Roll the clip. Exactly. That dude was a monster. Marshall, I mean, literally, this game plan was Russell Wilson, young developing quarterback, defense, run the ball. You had Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, beast quake, the beast incarnate. Give that man the rock, and he will take you to a Super Bowl. And that's exactly what happened. And it could have happened again. But the next year in the Super Bowl, you had Mr. Thomas Brady taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And a lot of people want to speculate. Oh, sorry, we didn't go over Seattle's receivers. Sidney Rice, fine. I think at that time you had Percy Harvin, fine. You may have had a young Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate even. Again, none of these guys are upper echelon, elite tier wide receivers. Very good. Very good. Helped in the development of Russell Wilson, helped in the development of the offense, but not who you think of when you immediately think, oh, best wide receiver in football. You don't think Doug Baldwin. Again, underrated. Very good. Retired too early. I understand, though. You made your money. You did what you had to do. But now we're going to get into the next year. And a lot of people want to talk to me about Casey, Julian Edelman, greatest playoff receiver of all time. Shut up. Julian Edelman is considered the greatest playoff receiver of all time. Some shit. The reason he has all of those stats in leading categories is because he was in the playoffs 1,000 times. Because of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. He played on the greatest team ever. Like, this 2 decades of dominance the Patriots have had, it'll never happen again. Ever. And people don't want to understand that or realize that. Like, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. That pairing, like, that might never happen again. Like, we all experienced such greatness, but we don't appreciate it because we were used to it. And then we also had guys like Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, like, our whole lives. Like, we watched Aaron Rodgers. Like, we watched some of the greatest quarterbacks to have ever played. And people just don't understand. But, again, we all know what happened in this Super Bowl. Malcolm Butler, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll roll the clip. Like, Malcolm Butler in the end zone, intercepted, game over. Like, Marshawn Lynch legitimately was half a yard away from a touchdown the play before. Like, Marshawn Lynch was on another level this game. He was an absolute monster. And then that crazy circus catch by Jermaine Kearse, like, set everything up to give Marshawn Lynch the ball to win the game. But Pete Carroll was too obsessed with making Russell Wilson the hero. After last year, people just called him a game manager, which is exactly what he was, and that was fine at this point in his career. We all know that Russell Wilson is a top 5 quarterback right now. But at this point in his career, Russell Wilson was a fine quarterback on 3rd down, and he made big plays when it mattered. But Russell Wilson was not expected to win you a football game like he is now. Like, Russell Wilson is carrying the weight of the Seattle Seahawks on his shoulders every Sunday. But back then, they had the run game, they had the Legion of Boom. Like, there was so much around him to where Russell Wilson did not have to worry about being the hero, about being the guy, about being the best quarterback on the field even. All he had to worry about was giving Marshawn Lynch the rock. But Pete Carroll, like a lot of coaches do, and we're going to get into that in the next one, they want to make their quarterback the hero. They want everyone to see the Seattle Seahawks, who is the face of Seattle. A defense being the face of a team is not super glamorous, even though it worked for Baltimore. A running back being the face of the team is not super glamorous, even though it worked for Minnesota. But we all know what a running back gets you, and that's jack, in my opinion. But Marshawn Lynch was like the face. Like, he was like the Legion of Boom, but on offense. Like, he was just mean, angry. He trucked through you. He stiff-armed you, threw you into the stands. Like, dude was a monster. But Pete Carroll was too concerned about making his quarterback look like the hero. Resulted in a loss. Tries to throw the game-winning touchdown, throws the game-sealing interception for the Patriots. A receiver was not the difference in that game. The lack of coaching was. And if you guys want to hear me talk about the next 5 years, so from 2015 to 2020, did an elite wide receiver help them win a Super Bowl? Drop it down in the comments. I'm probably going to drop the video anyway, but I definitely want to hear some positive feedback about this. And also, if you guys want more content like this, not just podcast episodes, I definitely want to keep uploading. And also, I just dropped a brand new website promoting my podcast and promoting my brand. Literally, lawlessports.com. That's it. Super simple, super easy to remember. I'm always going to post my latest video on there, and I also have a blog on there that I'm going to be writing once a week about different articles that maybe didn't make a podcast episode or didn't make a YouTube video. So thank you guys so much for the support. And guys, can't thank you enough. Always remember, life is good.